It's John G. Sutton. Tales from the Jails. Thank you very much for joining me today. I want to talk a little bit about incidents at the hospital in Strangeways prison when I was a hospital officer there. I want to tell you about a little bit about one particular senior hospital officer. We came on duty one morning. It's about 7:15, getting there about a bit earlier, and when it came to handover, you've got what you do is when you're taking over the hospital, you count everybody, all the inmates, you count them. It came to the padded cells. Now in the padded cells, the padded cells are where you put inmates who are in what's known as strip conditions. Yeah, that is, they don't have any clothes at all. They have a secure blanket, which is a blanket that they wrap around themselves, a plastic piss pot, and that's basically it. So we opened the padded cells, and inside the padded cell, the main padded cell, which was a big plastic wall thing, was two inmates, two naked blokes inside the padded cells. I said to the senior officer, I said, excuse me, I said, there's two naked men in there. I said, yeah, he said, ran out of space in the strip cells, he said, so I two'd them up. You can, seriously, you can imagine, if you're an inmate, you're kicking off in the middle of the night, you've got a psychotic incident, and you get grabbed by the staff, forcibly injected with a psychotropic drug, chlorpromazine or Largactil, whatever it is they get their hands on, and then you're stripped naked by the staff and thrown into a cell. And when you wake up in the morning, there's another naked man next to you. Hello, how did you get here? Hey, well, I was. Can you imagine that? Yeah, you got a right bollocking for that. I won't give you his name, but just in case you're really interested, it was Robert Thredder. And what do you think happened to Robert Thredder? Well, after he'd physically assaulted me, and managed to get me suspended from duty for defending myself against his attack, because when he grabbed hold of me, I used one of my fists, this one actually, to stick it right on his snot box, which is what you'd do, if somebody grabs you from behind, which he did. But what do you think happened to Robert Thredder? I'll tell you what happened to Hospital Senior Officer Robert Thredder. They promoted him from being a hospital senior officer to being a governor and put him in charge of the nursing services for the northwest of England in all the Home Office establishments. That's all the prisons and hospitals for the criminally insane. Robert Thredder, yeah. He had a nursing certificate just like mine. That was it. That was his total qualifications. And twoing up naked inmates, yeah. How bright do you have to be to do that? Yeah, that's what he did, yeah. There were quite a few incidents at the hospital, yeah. I was on the hospital ward. One of the inmates there, unfortunate, social inadequate, shall we say, and he wasn't the brightest bulb in the place. He was rather dim. And what had happened was he had a council house on the estate at Cheetham Hill, and what had happened, he'd fallen out with his neighbours, and he considered that the neighbours were threatening him and threatening his wife, and he complained to the council and he wanted to be rehoused. And to prove that his neighbours were actually threatening his life, he got some petrol in a can and poured it through his own front door and then lit it. Now, unfortunately for him, about a week before, the council had actually been and refurbished all these council houses and repainted them. All the interior, they repainted them, and the paint was still giving off fumes, and the fumes were slightly flammable. Of course, once you light a raging inferno of petrol behind your own front door, it got the whole lot and they went up. Two of his children were in the upstairs bedroom, both burnt, seriously burnt, and they were taken to Booth Hall Hospital, which is up near Boggart Hall, Clough, in up through Cheetham Hill, near to the Embassy Club, the world famous Embassy Club where Bernard Manning used to be. That's where Booth Hall Hospital was. It might still be there as far as I know. Anyway, he was a patient on the ward. He was a prisoner actually. He was on remand, and for arson and endangering human life. Subsequently to be charged with murder, because I took him to the Booth Hall Children's Hospital and went in with him because he was a prisoner, so I had to make sure he didn't escape, but he had no chance of escaping from me, believe me. I took him in there, and his children were like mummified. They'd been wrapped up in bandages. They had little tubes protruding through them. About 2 days later, they were both dead. That was the last time he saw his children. I tried to comfort him, but little could be said. I was doing my best. And I made sure that he got to see his children before they died, but he'd killed them, so you can imagine how devastated he was. Yeah. There was another inmate on the ward in there who was hearing voices in the hospital ward, and he kept saying to me, I can hear these voices, they're telling me what I want to do. We made sure he'd taken all his medication that he was prescribed by the doctors, because the doctors there, It was a proper hospital, it wasn't a joke. And we were actually, anybody who was sent from court, you'll see them in court saying, remanded in custody for 28 days pending psychiatric report. What they do is they go to somewhere like Strangeways, and they're located in the hospital wing, on the hospital ward. And I was the hospital officer in charge of the ward. And you would make notes, you'd observe them, and the psychiatrist discuss it with the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist made the reports, not me. I mean, I just submitted what I'd observed, But this particular inmate who was hearing voices, he would frequently run up to the desk when I had a desk right in the middle of the ward, and start banging on the desk. I can hear these voices, I can hear these voices. Sit down and, we'll have a talk about this. One day he rang up, I can hear these voices, and before I could get up to guide him to sit down, he ran straight at one of the plate glass windows and smashed through it with his fists and cut back, and it slashed all his arms. There was blood everywhere. You're not going to die from that, because we stopped the blood flow, and your veins would collapse, before you bleed to death from that, unless you slash them. Don't let me tell you how to do it, but I know how to do it. But he didn't. We managed to get him away and taken out to General Hospital, Salford Royal, where he would receive a blood transfusion. But he didn't come back. He didn't come back to me. I think he was taken to somewhere like Broadmoor, because he was obviously seriously psychiatrically disturbed. Those are just a little few observations of my time on the hospital ward at Strangeways. I'm going now to, I've got to caution you now. Oh, by the way, yeah, those of you who are interested, I heard from Sean Atwood. He is in the final processes of editing the 2-hour plus interview that I did for him. And my interview should be up there soon on his YouTube channel, which is True Crime, I believe, with Sean Atwood. So that should be good. I don't know. I remember it was quite a long interview. I forgot what I said now, but anyway, we did it. Yeah, I'm now gonna torture another song for you. And thank you all those who enjoyed my destruction of Eve of Destruction. It was asking for it, wasn't it? I mean, you can't have a song like Eve of Destruction unless it gets destroyed. And I did it. The Song Dinger. Yeah, I'm going to sing to you now. This is a song by an American performer who I have high regard for. I think he's got absolute class. He's a brilliant presentation. He sings it like as good as Sinatra for me. It's Tony Bennett, and this is one of the songs that he made famous, or the song made him famous, or anyway, somebody's famous anyway. But it's from Rags to Riches. So here we go. Are you sitting comfortably? Well, you won't be soon, because I'm gonna sing to you. I know I'd go from rags to riches if you would only say you can. And though my pockets may be empty, I'd be a millionaire. My clothes may be torn and tattered, but in my heart I'd be a king. Your love is all that ever mattered. It's everything. So open your arms and you'll open the door to every treasure I'm hoping for. Hold me and kiss me and tell me you're mine evermore. Must I forever be a beggar whose golden dreams will not come true? Or will I go from rags to riches? My fate is up to you. Must I forever be a beggar whose golden dreams will not come true? Or will I go from rags to riches? My fate is up to you. So there you go, from rags to riches, and that's where I am at the moment. And I think if it's left to a vote, yeah, I'm still in tatters, folks. Thank you very much for watching Tales from the Jails. See you soon. Hey, like it and subscribe and all that.